Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm playing Chaturaji, where 4 players each get half of a chess army, and players capture pieces for points. On screen is the point value of each piece. We also get the boat piece, which moves exactly like a rook. In this variant, first place gets 3 wins, second gets 1 win, third gets 1 loss, and fourth gets 3 losses. My goal is to get 3 wins against higher rated opponents. Let's get started with game number 1. Alright, game number 1, we actually get the red pieces, so we get to move first. And the first thing that I'm going to do is make an escape square for my king, and the first thing the opponent does, or at least one of the opponents does, is make a way for the bishop to develop and cut off my king, which could turn out to be annoying. Also, I've just noticed everybody in here is stacked. You've got a 1700, an almost 2000, and a 2200. I'm going to go ahead and, I guess, develop my king. Because my concern is that green will start pushing, especially a 2200 rated player, will start pushing their pawns and uncovering their pieces, attacking my king. Okay, and green has the same idea that I do. Also, pawns can only advance 1 square in this variant. Let's push this pawn forward. And eventually, I'd like to push my own pawn in front of my boat to start an attack on the blue pieces. I also remember that in this variant, oh wow, green is playing exactly what we're playing. Either that means we're playing like a 2200, or green playing like me is somehow a good strat, but I wouldn't know, to be honest, being almost the lowest rated player here. I do also remember that basically free pieces was a very prevalent theme in Chaturaji, maybe not at these higher ratings, because previously I was playing just against anybody, but I have a funny feeling we're going to see some mischievous free pieces, especially with the king so exposed for yellow right now. Let's go ahead and continue to push this pawn. Maybe eventually we displace the king with a check. We get a capture over here. I think that was just a knight for a knight. So they'll each get their 3 points for capturing those knights, but they'll have less pieces to play against me and green. We'll see what blue decides to do about this attack, because now they have 1 less defending piece. Okay, they decide to just go running off with the king, which is fair enough. Right now it seems like yellow's most developed piece is the king. And green is doing the same thing to me that I'm doing to blue, which is quite terrifying. There is this check potentially, in which case I just move the king out of the way, and there should be no further issue. There's also captures, which could be an issue because I can't take back with the bishop, or else the rook takes, or rather their boat takes my boat. So I'm gonna start by moving my boat out of the way, I think. And we'll see if green still has an interest in capturing my pawn. This is quite an annoying idea, because I can't actually take that pawn, obviously, because my pawn can't take backwards. But their pawn sees my pawn, so they could leave that tension as long as they please, and there's nothing I can really do about it. Okay, they now engage with yellow instead. This idea of engaging with enemy armies is also pretty relevant in 4-player chess. Okay, let's continue by developing my knight, and I think I still want to do this pawn push. There just seem to be a lot of good ideas there. Okay, blue is not trying to escape with the king, but I can still put pressure on this pawn, because again, same thing that's going on between me and green will eventually be happening between me and blue. And this pawn can't move out of the way because of that bishop. Also, as far as the time control goes, it's a minute, but you get 5 seconds back for every move that you make. So it's it's such a high increment that it almost borders on blitz in my opinion. But at the same time, I'm the kind that won't play 1+1. I'd much rather play 1-0. Okay, yellow down to 15 seconds. They do get their 10 seconds back. We'll see what green makes of this position. I assume they just keep taking because it's free material, which would allow me to engage with blue without having to worry too much about green continuing their attack. Nice. That's exactly what we get. We'll follow through on our attack. Whoa! Wait, what just happened there? Did yellow just blunder their king to blue? Holy smokes. Okay, let's take... Oh, do I take with the knight or with the pawn? I think I take with the knight. Oh, am I making a grave mistake? No, I'll take with the pawn, just to at least give that check. My only concern is that if I trade off rooks with blue, we will both be much weaker against green. Okay, green continues to push, clearly excited about the prospect of blue and myself trading boats. Oh, but now I don't have much of an option, do I? Okay, I'm just gonna take. It's the most passive way to play, but I have 10 seconds left, and really shoving the rook into this little pocket didn't seem that appealing. Whoa! We get counterplay by blue? Is that what that is? Because this boat seems to be fine now. I can give check, and my boat is a-okay. Blue just has to move the king out of the way. I don't know if that was a miscalculation, but it was definitely a free rook for myself. We get checked. Oh, and actually we get forked as well. The knight is now as good as gone. I forgot that that was going to be an issue. It's so hard to calculate forks like this sideways for pawns. Not to mention now my bishop is entombed until further notice. Green basically has to capture if I want any chance of escape, but of course they just take my free pawn. Fair enough, I'll go ahead and take back. It is a game of points, so I do need to catch up, even though I have more material than blue. Blue's not doing a bad job of staying in the lead in terms of points. Let's go ahead and take this pawn. Looking at green's pawn as well. Blue now cheekily threatening my boat, which is quite annoying because now there's this double threat. But that bishop was trapped anyways, so we'll wave it goodbye. King moves out of the way. They take. Let's move my king back to stop this pawn from pushing forward, but there's still this check idea. Pawn moves out of the way. Let's go check. Blue can't really piggyback off the fact that I'm threatening green's king. So yeah, they just kind of have to move out of the way. And we will, I guess, follow suit. Is there anything I can actually do here? I guess I'll take and try to go for this pawn. I almost actually benefit from blue getting a passed pawn. Let's move back. Right, blue pushes, and with any luck, blue will promote to a boat, and we can take down green together. That's my hope. That is my dream at the moment. Okay, is my boat rather trapped? No, I can just move it over. Also, they have this capture here, which they've decided not to engage with, I guess temporarily because my boat defends it. We'll go here and threaten blue's pawn. I would also like to get a passed pawn if that is possible. But green has a very concrete threat here of promoting, so I might have to catch that with the rook. We'll see. We'll go ahead and take. I just realized I think I pre-moved that, which I'm totally fine with. Blue pushes their pawn. Green comes back. Let's try to catch blue. There are mating threats here, which is kind of scary. There's like check. I move back. Well, maybe not mating threats, but green is definitely going to try and force a promotion. Right, check. Let's move back. Ooh, green moves back. Nice. I like to see that. Let's move my pawn forward. I think I like to see that. It might be a maneuver to better position the knight. Oh, I could take this boat. But again, I think I'm better off working with blue. Oh, I'm put in check. You've got to be kidding me. Well, there's no working with blue now. There's just getting checkmated by blue. Yeah, blue just grabs my boat for free. Well, maybe I shouldn't have let him get that free boat. But I was so behind in points that I thought it was my only way to get some more points back. Oh, it's my turn again. Guess I'll grab an extra point. Don't mind if I do. Yeah, blue goes into the corner, and blue is basically just waiting for green to checkmate me with this ladder's mate, with the idea that they will definitely finish in second. Which I guess if you look at the rating, the order of the ratings, this result makes perfect sense. Yellow was the first one out. I will now be the next one out. I'll move my king out of the way. Blue will probably lose to green, just because green has a huge material advantage. The other thing I could do is I could give it to blue out of spite. Which is kind of gross, but I could. The thing is that blue would always be able to take back. So I'm actually just going to, let's see, I guess move out of the way. I think actually green is calculating exactly that, because they could have just moved down, but they decided to challenge blue instead. Oh, and blue takes. Okay, yeah. Now we're definitely getting mated. Let's shuffle out of the way. Right, we're getting back ranked here in just a moment. Not much to do but wait for it to happen. Check. Sure, we'll move out of the way. King here. Looking for this and this. Okay, I'm not really sure what they're getting at now. Oh, my king is trapped, so I have to move into danger. Oh, interesting, right? Because this is not a stalemate variation. This is a capture king. All right, with that, we placed third. Might as well line up for the next match because green has pretty much got this game in the bag. Oh, and I think blue is timing out. That's disgusting. Oh no. Yeah, that's not a nice way to go. There's nothing to think about here. Blue has no moves where they don't lose the king. So effectively they're checkmated, but the game doesn't end automatically because it's a capture king variant, and theoretically green could miss that the king is free. But with that, green wins. Nice. All right, we did place third, so actually we have one loss so far, which is not ideal. But blue did ultimately resign, so I guess maybe they weren't timing out. Let's go to move on to game number 2. All right, game number 2, we see one familiar face, which is the green player. And then we see two new players, red and blue, who all have the same opening, and who am I to be the dissenter? So I'm gonna do the same thing. I think what we learned from last time is that when we go for this attack, instead of going for trades, we should immediately look for ways to win material. So we'll go ahead and target this bishop right away, because when we traded off those boats, we basically inherently gave blue the advantage. So instead, we'll look for a way to make a more concrete attack. Blue here is going for a check, potentially a capture, which I have no problem with taking back. It kind of helps me develop. We'll see what blue goes with. They might just go with check, which they do. Okay, we'll shuffle the king out of the way. I don't think that is the end of the world in any way. If anything, it sort of closes off the position. So no pieces can enter, which looks pretty good. Okay, green is going for an attack in front of their own king instead of in front of their pieces that need to develop, which is a little bit questionable. We get this part of the position closed off, which I am happy to see. We'll now push this pawn supported by the boat, look for check, probably develop the knight at some point, and we're looking pretty good over here. Whoa, the knight develops into an attack, so that is definitely going to be my next capture with check. We'll see what blue does about this, because blue is now targeted by red. I would not like to be on the end of the attack of a 2300 rated player, but we'll go ahead and capture this knight since that is not really our business at the moment. But it is funny to observe, and we'll see what green decides to do about this. Oh, it says green has disconnected. That is not ideal. Well, actually for me, that's pretty good. If this is anything like 4-player, I believe it is, when they officially time out from their disconnection, the king actually stays on the board, so somebody can still grab the king for points. And worst case scenario, the king is not on the board, then we're still looking good because we can sort of just capture our way down into a promotion. So this should actually be a huge advantage for us. Yeah, they're down to 7 seconds and showing no signs of reconnecting. 2, we'll see what happens, whether or not the king actually stays on the board. Well, that is a very dark green, but still a noticeable color. I'm pretty sure the king is still on the board and we can still capture it, which means we'll then have 6 points, which is insane. Yeah, we have 6 points. That's kind of broken, I'll be honest. If somebody disconnects, I think the fairest way to do it would be just gray out all of the pieces, and I would still have an advantage because I'm still closer to promotion. It's my turn again. I'm going to work my way down to promotion with captures. These captures don't actually do anything. The gray pieces aren't worth any points, but I do want to clear the pieces sort of out of the way so they're not later a problem. Not to mention, I can't actually promote by just pushing my pawn anyway, so I sort of have to capture. We'll see what blue does about this. They're now in check, facing a 2300 rated player, but the cool thing is the 2300 rated player isn't really in a position to attack me. It makes more sense for them to go after blue. Blue now down to 33 seconds, but like I said, you get 5 seconds back for every move that you make, so not really the biggest deal. Oh, they're going for this check. Oh, but then they blunder their king. I probably should have paid more attention to what was going on over here. But let's go ahead and promote to our boat. Oh, which seems to be the only option. You can only promote to boats. Point-wise, blue's out of it, so they're definitely third. Red has 4 points. Let's play here, offering a trade, which I would be more than happy to go for. But they decide to capture instead. They're probably going to look for a promotion, so I should probably look for another myself. But that's going to be quite difficult considering that red is defending this with a pawn. So I'm going to give this check. And I'm actually really badly underdeveloped. I'm stuck behind my own pawns here. Let's push this with the idea that we can take with check. Actually, no, taking with check just loses us a point. But we can develop the knight and then take with check, which looks pretty good. But again, getting past this bishop to actually promote my pawns is going to be a bit of a pain. Although actually, on second thought, bishops and boats are actually worth the same in this variant. They're both worth 5 points. So I really could sacrifice one of my boats for this bishop, and it would be justified. I just don't know if it's worth all those tempo. Red should definitely be looking for a way to promote here, but they pinned my knight instead. That is super interesting. I guess the idea is that if I take, they can actually take back. If I take, the bishop takes, but then I take, and that's definitely better for me. So I'm going to take here with check. Yeah, the king moves out of the way. Okay, they don't bite. Let's move the king out of the way. Oh wait, no, then there's this check, which is kind of annoying. Okay, I guess we'll move back. Oh, but then they take here. I take, they take, lose this pawn, but then I can develop my bishop. I think it's worth it. We'll call it a calculated risk. I think it's worth losing these 2 pawns if I can just develop my bishop and go after their king. Because the sooner I can put an end to any sort of counterattacking ideas, the better off I'll be. So we'll give that check right away. And the only way that's going to happen is if we expose this king. Not to mention right now they can't actually push this pawn because I can take with my boat. So we'll see how they go about. Oh, they go for they resign. Oh, they resign. Nice. Oh, sweet. Okay, with that we do get all 3 victories. This time against 2 high rated opponents. A little bit cheesed, considering, well, maybe very cheesed actually, considering green just left and that gave us an extra rook and 3 extra points. But I'll take the victory. With that, we also get 64 points of rating. We're now rated 1800 supposedly in this variant. But yeah, with that, we get all 3 victories under our belt. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Let me know down below if you guys have any certain Chaturaji strategies. I kind of like this little idea, and the higher rated opponents seem to be playing it. But it felt like it fell through in the first game. I guess that was just because we traded the rooks. But yeah, let me know down below what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next one.